Jossalyn.
Hi, Stacey.
Oh my God, the way that this going live was so like giving old lady. And you're not an old enough lady for it to be giving old lady for you, but for me, not knowing exactly what we're doing.
Well, yeah, I feel like we need like a young kid to help us.
I'm excited about our conversation. I think it's long overdue, right? It just
Sure.
feels right to be having this conversation now to kind of talk about. Oh, hi, Carm. Hey, friend. Hey, Courtney, is that you? Hey,
I'm glad you can see these people because I cannot. So, hey, y'all.
Courtney. I'm just again, I'm really excited that we're having this conversation because I feel like it's, hey, Carm, it's long overdue. We never go live actually.
I know
Courtney
we
is good
don't.
girl. But we wanted to close out Women's History Month and just have a conversation around just our journey in business and what that has looked like when we align it to the lens of our faith, uh, our leadership, and really how we've gotten to the place now, I think, where we're building something to last. And I'm really excited about that. I think you don't always see, people don't always let you behind the curtain. I think in the
Yeah.
age of social media, there's a lot of pseudo behind the curtain, but are people really being truthful?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? In this age of
hmm
influencers, are we really being honest? And I think what I'd like for us to do in this next 25 minutes or so is to just peel back the curtain and really be honest about our journey as women leaders and what's important to us, what we've valued, how we've grown. Because I think since the conception of our company, there's been a lot of growth over the last 4 or 5 years. Like I think
Yeah.
personally and professionally, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I felt like with this Women's History Month, it would be a good opportunity for us to just really talk about what that has looked like for us. Yay! Well, we'll share this on our business page. But Jocelyn and I started Springwell um, a little over 4 years ago. Can you believe that?
I cannot. Yes and no, right? Because I think I look at these milestones in my life as like markers from my kids. So
Yeah.
Hannah is my Springwell baby. So
Yeah.
I can't believe she's 4, but I can't believe Springwell is 4 either. So
Wow.
it's crazy.
And I want the world to know that Hannah loves her T Stacy. I just want to put that on. It has nothing to do with what we are talking about right now. But Hannah loves her T Stacy and her T Stacy loves her.
It's a real thing.
I
Real
feel like my
thing.
I feel like my future is secure because Hannah loves me.
She does.
Mace
She
and I don't
does.
have any children, and so maybe she won't let us rot in a nursing home anywhere. You know, she'll be the one that comes check on us, make sure we have groceries and stuff.
She will.
I feel
She
like my
will.
future's bright. I feel like my future's bright. I really. Let's talk about Jocelyn. Let's talk about the last 4 years. And well, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit beyond the 4 years and talk about because I think I was talking to. I think I told you this. I was talking to a therapist a couple, maybe I don't know, 2 months ago, right? And I was talking about how just some of the stressors in business. I was just telling her about me and like what's important to me now and um, what's kind of top of mind for me as an individual. But one of the things I said to her explicitly is that I wanted a therapist that, and this is just my preference, that I wanted a therapist who understood my context, and my context would always be through the lens of my faith. And
Yeah.
I want that to change, right? And so you don't have to believe the way that I believe, but at least kind of understand that when I talk about my world, it's going to always be through the lens of my faith. I
Yep.
think with us in business, that is true of us as people. And it has been true of like how we have navigated. So while we're in business to make money, we also see that there is like this other layer that is so important
Hmm.
to the work that we do because we are engaging with people and all of the things. Um, but what do you think? Like, do you view um, being in business today as a calling?
Oh, hands down.
Right?
Right. I mean, I do. I think, and I agree with you. I think I can't separate like Jocelyn from the business owner and Jocelyn like who believes in Jesus, right? Like, though I am the same no matter where I am. Like you've heard me say this before, but like wherever you go, there you are. So it doesn't matter which room we're sitting in. Um, my faith is showing up with me. The Holy Ghost is showing up with me, right? Like, so that those two things are the same. But when you say like, do I see it as a call? Like 100%, because it's times when you don't want to do it. You know, I
Mm.
mean, for me at least, right? Like there are times where I'm like, Lord, if it be your will, let this cup pass, right? But not my will, but your will.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like I think the other side of that though is the reason that I know it's a call too, is because I think when we get to places, there's often time like the thing that we're talking about, but I think we often sense that there's something else that is happening in a room when we're there, and that feels holy. um, you know, it feels sacred to be able to sit in a space with a person and we're talking about leadership, we're talking about strategy, we're talking about change management. um, but there are other things that have to be discussed or other things that are happening beneath the surface, and it's like, okay, Lord, like you've put us here.
Yeah.
So for me it does feel like it is a call, in a lot of ways, for sure.
So I think I've told you this too in just sidebar conversations that we've had down through the years, like my family. So yes, I do view being in business in this way as a calling. I do. For me personally, because I feel like anything that a believer touches and moves throughout the world engaging in, to me, should then amplify what we say we believe. And what I mean by that is like if I say that I believe in Jesus and that everything about him is creative and has this layer of love and is redemptive in nature, then whatever I set my hand to do should have elements of that. So
Sure.
so I do believe in that way. I also, just given my family like background, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. Um, all of my uncles are entrepreneurs. They jokingly say like Josephs aren't meant to work for nobody. I think to that might be a little truth to that. So it's kind of like down in my in my DNA almost, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my grandfather built houses back in the day. I have an uncle who owns a plumbing company. I have another uncle who does carpentry work. I have another uncle who is a painter. Um,
Yeah.
my sister and my brother-in-law have a business. I have another cousin who's a builder. I actually have two other cousins who are builders today,
Oh
like
wow.
do development work. Um, my aunt, while she didn't have like a formalized business, she was a person
Hmm.
people call when they wanted flowers done or their events planned. So it's just so much a part of like how I grew up. So I'm not surprised that it's what I'm doing. But then you tack on the layer of my faith and feeling like this is an opportunity for me to make impact in the earth in a different way. It
Yeah.
just, to your point, feels very holy and is very sacred. Um,
Yeah.
this is what bubbles up for me, Jossalyn. Like, as a woman of faith, how do you navigate the tension between ambition and humility in leadership?
Yeah, man, that's a really good question. I think, well, one, I'll say, I just love when you talk about like how your family dynamic like has kind of positioned you for, kind of trained you all along the way, right? Because I just believe like family is supposed to be this safe space to like learn and grow and try on for size. Um, and yeah, my grandfather was an entrepreneur, but I think I learned he and my aunt, his sister, and I learned a lot in that space. So that's a lie for another day. That's a lie for another day. But I think when I think about like this space between, ambition and faith, for me, kind of what comes up is I feel like I've had to redefine both. So, like, I think for me, ambition isn't anymore about like proving or feeling like I have to like take everything on, but it really is about how do I steward what God has placed inside of me. And so, when I hold that, I think it's like that is my job with what I believe God has given me. And I think the other side of that is like when I think about the humility alongside that, it's not me shrinking, but it's me staying aligned, right? Like, am I staying aligned to what I know God has called me to do or who He's called me to be? And I think that tension sometimes has shown up for me, in rooms where I knew I was capable, but maybe I kind of like held back, or I was uncomfortable because I was the only female, or I was the only African American in the room, or the only African American female, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like having to realize that like playing small is not humility, it's actually disobedience. And so I think for me, I've had to try to redefine both of those spaces so that I can fully like show up with like clarity, or I can stay grounded in like knowing that I'm enough, but I also know enough to not take credit for it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think that's kind of how it's shown up for me. Like how about you? How's it shown up for you?
Man, so I think by nature, I'm very ambitious. And
Yeah.
I never set out to do anything small. So and then there's a part of me that feels like our God is so grand,
Yeah.
then why should, and if we are made in his likeness and his image, then why should we play small?
Sure.
And then who determines what's small and what's grand? So that's where I think the tension lives, in that is there this is there this picture that maybe I have in my mind that's not necessarily aligned to what um how God sees what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like making sure that I'm clear there first,
Yeah.
because I do think like I genuinely, like, fundamentally think that it's smart. Not only is it smart, it's good for the kingdom,
Yeah.
for believers to do well.
Agree. Hands down, agree. Hands down.
It's good for the kingdom. I can make more impact. Um, we can make more impact when Springwell is in spaces. One, we're a company that really does our best work, like at trying to show up and lead from a place of integrity,
Mm-hmm.
do what we say we're going to do, to listen for the greatest impact, right? Like, when we're going in, we're not just saying, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong as a consultant. We're saying, how can we help you make greater impact? And so
Right.
we're going in from a lens to make something better than when we started.
Yep.
And all of that, feels like God. Like that is so much of his person, like his way, right? It's like if you just drill it back to, I don't want to say to the lowest denominator because it's not that, but in the simplest form of salvation, it's like we form a relationship with Jesus Christ and we are never the same.
Yeah.
And if I have that same authority and that same ability, then when I go into organizations, I believe that when they engage with our company, they will never be the same. They'll be better as a result, right? That's
Yes. Yeah.
fundamentally it. Where the humility part comes in is because I really don't think that I'm less than, that I'm better than people, if you will, but I definitely don't think I'm less than anybody.
Absolutely.
And so it's keeping the fine line there where I can show up confident and do what God has placed within me to do, and not make my work bigger than my God. Like that they right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where that humility, I think, comes in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like it feels like often a fine line, right? Because you to some degree you have to show it with a level of acumen around what you do, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, I think we're bomb when it comes to the work that we do. Like I would put us
Yeah,
up against anybody, right?
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'll take the Lord's strategy and path over ours that we come up with or anybody on our team comes up with any day, right? So yeah, you're right. Like it sometimes is this space of like walking gingerly to make sure that you don't make a misstep in that way. So I definitely agree.
I think there's also like this thing, especially with ambition for women. Like sometimes I feel like we are made, not always, but are often made to feel like if you pursue certain things, you can only pursue so much because
Mm,
you got to be, or not got to be, but you might be functioning in wife mode, or you might be functioning in mom mode,
yeah.
or you might be the caregiver for your parents, and so your ambition should only go this far because these things also need your attention. And I think now I don't have children, and thankfully I don't have to take care of my parent right now or anything
Hmm.
like that. But I do, I'm grateful that I'm married to someone who allows me to see it big and experience it big, and I don't ever have to come down from,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I'm glad you said that because I think that's the other side that lets me know that business is also a calling. Because if we look at it like just from a scripture reference, like God doesn't, He hasn't done anything without partnership, right? Like He partners with in the beginning, like He partnered, you know, with the earth, like let us make all of these
Yeah.
different things. And so I think that is also a way that I see business. And so when I look at like even my relationship with my husband, it is a genuine partnership to be able to lean fully into the things that are in my heart to do.
Hmm.
For example, us being in partnership together in business, like I couldn't do this with having children
Yeah.
and independently. I couldn't do it. Now there are some women, kudos to them. But I just know I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. And so, even in that space, like you said, of not feeling like I have to shrink or not do the thing that I think I'm supposed to be doing, I'm grateful for partnership in that way, which is another way that I feel like it is a call, but it is also supporting the desires of what I believe God has placed in me to do. So the desires of my heart, if you will. But I agree with you. I think 100% that sometimes we're holding this tension around should I, for especially as women, like, should we be doing these things? Um, but why not? I mean, hello.
Why not? Speaking of, what do you think? Because I think at some point we should write a book about what it means to partner.
Mm,
Um, I personally think partly what makes us, our company in particular, good when we go into a space is because we understand partnership at the foundation, like fundamentally, like,
yeah.
right? And so when we say we partner with an organization to support their ability to bridge the gap between their strategy and execution, like we understand it, but we do that every day, right? What do you think this partnership has taught you? Like, because being in a business partnership is hard. Do you remember the first conversation we had with someone and they were like, be careful about that partnership?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because that's like, ooh, will it really work? Can y'all really?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think being in a business partnership has taught you? Or even how has it strengthened your leadership?
Oh, those are great questions. So I think in terms of like taught me is Hiago,
Oh,
because um because we talk about our faith alongside this. I feel like so churchy when I'm getting ready to say this, but like legitimately, one could put 1,000, but two could put 10,000, right? Like legitimately that, like in practice.
yeah,
And I say that because I think there are so many things that I can do, but I don't have to think about them, or if they're not my natural bend, I don't have to do them
yeah,
because I have a strong partner. Like I don't have no dummy for a partner.
right.
Like, and I'm grateful for that. Like I think that's one thing it's taught me is like you go so much further. You get there, I think, with so much more sustainability
Yes.
with having the right partner. And I think our partnership is like proof of what is possible. And I think in the best ways, right? Like
Yeah.
when you bring your full self, like that there is really a space for you to partner with someone outside of like outside of my spouse, where there's genuine, like I can genuinely be me
Yeah.
and it is valued and it is appreciated and celebrated. And I think that's healthy, right? So I think that's one thing that I've learned is like you really can go further, faster, and with greater sustainability when you've got the right partner. And what was the back half of what you said?
How has it strengthened your leadership?
I think it has strengthened my leadership because it gives me greater trust and clarity to focus on the things that um, are within my purview,
Yeah.
right? So I think you and I have said this before, like we are alike in a lot of ways, but we're also very different in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think that it's let me trust those spaces where you and I are not alike because again, I don't have my brain isn't consumed by things that aren't necessarily my gifting or my my natural bend. Um, and I think that strengthens my leadership because it gives me the space to be able to focus on getting better at some of the things that I
Mm,
that I should be doing, right? Like it gives me the space to like say, I actually don't have to worry about that. I've got a partner that focuses on that. These are the things that I need to be focused on and give attention to. And so that gives me space to build my capacity in a different way,
yeah.
which I hope shows up in our business and shows up in our partnership in a way that is profitable, but also in a way that makes us better as partners too.
Yeah. When I think about that, because I've heard, and I'm sure you have too, like women say, I can't work with women like that.
Yeah,
I don't even really
yeah,
like that because
yeah,
I mean it's hard work now. It's hard
yeah,
work because it's easier. What is easier is to make all of the decisions yourself. Is to dance by the beat of your own drum. That's easier.
yeah,
It is harder and it takes more intention and effort to consider another person, to weigh things, to um just I feel like our whole partnership is pressure testing. all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good because I think it's where you get better outcomes when
Yeah.
when you kind of poke holes in it and say, well, what about this? Or no, I don't know. Maybe we should consider a different direction, but it's easier to just go with your own thinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go with your own thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But will you get there? Will you have the same outcome? You could have a good outcome, but could you have a better one if you had another set of eyes? Or so when I hear women say, like, I don't work with women well, or I've never had, that is fascinating to me because I have had probably some of the greatest um, exchanges, challenges from other sister friends talking through things or dreaming and building kind of together. So when I hear somebody now this right here, what we are doing, honey, this is probably the hardest thing I have ever done, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Um, but it just requires a level of, I think there's a level of humility that comes with partnership, where you say that maybe my way is not the best way,
Yeah.
and I could benefit from someone else's insight, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a very humbling experience to partner with someone in this way. And I think I told you this before. The other thing about being in business partnership together is that the partnership by default requires a level of vulnerability and transparency that you don't always want to give. It's like they don't feel like talking to you about sad things right now. Like, sign your name on the dotted line and let's keep moving, right? You're just kind of like,
Yeah.
do as I say. It's like, no, 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 that's how that goes, not how that goes. And
Right.
it strengthened my leadership, because I think there's one thing to say that you are collaborative, but there's another thing for collaboration to be your business model.
Yeah.
Those are not the same.
No, they
those
are not.
those are not the same. Man, listen,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I'm really glad, Jossalyn, that we we decided to have a little portion of a conversation around kind of our leadership. I think one of the things that comes to mind for me too around leading, being a woman leader and being governed is such a strong word, but it really is that, being guided and governed by my the principles of my faith, or tenets of my faith, um, is kind of knowing, how do you know when there's values alignment, because that's big for us in business.
Mm.
Like, we want to do business with people where there's values alignment.
Mm-hmm.
We feel like we can actually move the needle. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you know, like, how what's the barometer when you say, like, this feels right? Because part of what you do for us is going out and securing business on behalf of Springwell. How do you know when it's like, this feels like the right partnership, like this will fit, we could really do some damage in a good way for this organization? How do you know when there's like true values alignment?
Oh, wow. Um, I think when I'm sitting down with other business leaders, part of I think part of what I am listening for and looking for is one, like will they tell the truth?
Mm,
Are they
mm,
honest about what is
mm.
happening in their world? And
Wow.
I think trust grows over time, right? So it's like there's like a measure of trust you may give a person when you first sit down. Then there's like it's like, okay, that person could take what I said and they were okay with that, right? Like they did what they said they were going to do. They had integrity around how they handled my truth. But I think one is like, will they tell the truth? Like, will you be honest about what's really happening? And not just like what's happening with the scenario, but like also how it is impacting you. because I think that's the other side of our work is like, yes, we're going in to do the thing, but oftentimes that thing is often connected to something in your leadership that, like you said, you may not be ready to like say, hey, shine a little light over here, like, or, you know, whatever. So I think part of it is truth. And then I think, and this is a strong word, but I think it's also like, is there surrender there? And what I mean by that is like, can you be willing to say like you just said, like there, I've tried it these ways, but
Hmm.
I need help to figure out how to take it from here to there, or like I need support to like you know, go from this level to this one. And so if I peel it all the way back,
Yeah.
I think those are really the two things is like, will they tell the truth? Is a person telling the truth about what is happening? And is there surrender there around, I have tried it these ways and now I'm ready to try it a different way, and the openness to that.
Yeah.
I think that's when I know it's a good partnership. Cause like I don't think you can really be partners. And we see our clients as partners. You can't really be partners if like it's a consistent fight.
Yeah.
Because you can't get the best of me, I can't get the best of you, and it's not mutually beneficial. So,
I would say I would say, and maybe you agree with this or not, and maybe you don't, but I would say like one of our biggest challenges, maybe not the biggest challenges, but one of the challenges that we have faced, and we haven't had it a lot, like, but we did have a situation with a client where it didn't, it was like,
mhm,
I don't know, we don't know if we can really help. We
yeah,
want we want to. And I think that was a big turn for me to make, because you know you have a solution, and you know that it can support their ability to do the things that they really want to do, and that
yeah,
they want to do better and faster and more efficiently, you know what I'm saying? And then to come to terms with the fact that it's like, oh, this isn't gonna work. It's not gonna work
mhm,
for you, it's not gonna work for us. And I think I'm remembering one particular uh, engagement, and it just fell flat. Like it just
yeah,
did not. And it was hard for me because, again, I just said in the beginning of this live that I'm very ambitious, and I always see, like, I never see, I always see winning.
yeah,
I'm going to be here like, we're gonna kill this. We're gonna
correct.
knock this out the park, right? And so not viewing that, getting to a place where you don't view that, this is what I'm saying is a hard turn for me, is like getting to a place where you don't view that as a failure
Yes, ma'am.
or a loss, uh,
Yep.
but it was just misalignment,
Yeah.
and learning how to pivot quickly and keep it moving,
Yeah.
get to the client where there is alignment, right, where there is.
Yeah.
But that was like the notch in my leadership belt, where it was like, look at it through the right lens. This is not a loss. This is not a failure.
Yeah.
There was misalignment, but there is a partner that will work dynamic for this person. It's just not us.
Yeah. And I think I totally agree with everything you said. I think the other side of it too is like, and this is why too, like
Hmm.
you have agreements in place so that when the values are misaligned, or if something does come up, because things do come up in
Yeah,
business, you've got agreements that support what we agreed to in the beginning,
yeah,
right? And so those things protect, um, they protect you in those scenarios where there isn't, when you find out down the road, right?
yeah,
Because it
yeah.
does happen. And I think that's a part of it, right? Like, I don't think there's a,
Uh-oh. There you are. Okay.
you know, I don't think it's unique to our business in any way when, that it does, like you said, I love the language you use of like fell flat, right? It's like I might go through the drive through and my order's not right. And maybe something egregious, maybe they don't want to fix it, then that means we're not aligned,
Hmm.
right? But the reality is that, like, that's why you have those agreements in place, I think, that support your ability to navigate when the values are misaligned. So
Yeah. Well, I think, Jocelyn, I've got one more question for us to talk through.
Mm.
Just
Hmm.
because. Just because. Because why? Because why not? But I don't know. I think Women's History Month, I think women are pretty amazing. And,
Hmm.
um, when I think about uh, the work that we're leading, the fact that Springwell is built by women, owned by women, powered largely by women.
Hmm.
That wasn't intentional, to have so many women consultants on our bench. That wasn't anything we set out to do.
Hmm.
It speaks to the fact that we have mirrored a partnership that is healthy, and other women want to be around other healthy women. Uh,
Sure.
but what advice would you give to your younger self about overcoming self doubt, stepping into your leadership power?
Mm.
And you just turned the big 4-0.
Indeed.
Look at that.
Indeed.
Look
Look
at
at
that.
that.
Come on,
Look at
Kelly.
that. Coming through. Um, yeah, I feel like this is a question that I think about often. Um, just in terms of like what would I go back and tell little Jocelyn if this, if
Yeah.
40-year-old Jocelyn could go back and say some things to her. One, and I think I shared this with you the other day. One is just like I would tell her to trust herself more, like trust your voice, trust your instinct.
Yeah.
And I think, especially as I think about it in connection to my faith, it's really like trusting what is governing you, right? More than what, like, it ain't even about it necessarily trusting myself, but it's
Yeah.
like trust what is governing you.
Yeah.
Because I have believed for a long time,
Yeah.
right? And so I think the cultivation of I think I think that's probably what I would go back and tell little Jocelyn is like, cultivate your faith even more, make your ear even sharper to hear and understand and trust what
Yeah.
is governing you, like the anchor of your life.
Yeah.
Um, because I think that's what I think I lean into more now. That is what I lean into more now. It's not necessarily about trusting me. Yeah, there are some things I know. But at the end of the day, it is about trusting what anchors me. And
Yeah.
I think I would go back and tell little Jocelyn that, like, trust that. Trust your instinct around that. Trust your discernment around that. Trust your thinking around that. But still be open to perspective and having your perspective challenged and
Yeah.
um, sitting with yourself. So at the end of the day, I would tell her to stop, like don't negotiate with fear. Like
Mm-hmm.
move on by that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Yeah, I think there's a lot that I would tell little
No.
Jocelyn, but I think those are the main things.
Yeah. Let's see. If I had to go back and tell my younger self, okay, I do think I would probably start with 3 words: that you are enough.
Hmm.
I think it's conversations that I've had with, um, well, conversations I've had with myself, number one, and with others around being clear about who you are. And because I do think when there's a case of mistaken identity, anything is possible. But when you're sure, you're clear around the opportunities that you take, around the people that you connect with, about the things that you do or won't do, when
Hmm.
you get really clear about who you are. And I think the world itself is not necessarily shooting a banner saying, there's like a banner flying in the air saying, "Oh, you're amazing," right? There's like there are like all of these things to point you to what might be bigger, better, brighter.
Yeah.
When in fact, bigger, better, brighter is already within you.
Yeah.
So I think I would
That's
start
good.
um and maybe offer that not knowing is not a bad thing.
Sure.
'Cause I think we put a high premium on knowing, but questions like curiosity gets you more than presenting as the person who has all the answers.
100%.
I think about people who have mentored me down through the years. I think they have opened themselves up to me because I was so forward in my desire to know,
Yeah.
not presenting like I did. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That moves you from a place of being performative, um, and it just kind of anchors you as a learner. And people want to pour where vessels are open,
Absolutely.
not where they're saying I'm the best vessel. Well, then move around.
Go.
Oh man, Johnson, we must do this again. We must do it again. We talk all the time, but we never really, I don't guess, bring people into our crazy conversations. But we thought we'd do this just to kind of celebrate women during Women's History Month and talk a little bit about our journey as leaders and through the lens of our faith, because I think that's so crucial to
Agree.
paramount to who we are as people. I'm delighted to still be in business with you, girl. And
Likewise.
let's keep building something to last.
Hey, that's the only way to build it. No, but I agree. I'm delighted to do business with you. And for all of you that are listening, we would love for you to tell us below, like something that, from today's conversation that maybe you're taking with you. Because at the end of the day, insight without action doesn't change anything. And so Stacey and I are in the business of movement and we want to see you move too. So we're curious. We really do want to know like what's coming up for you. And make sure you follow Springwell so that you don't miss the next time we decide to go live. We don't know when it'll be, but we'd love for you to be there when we do.
All right. Bye.